千里之行，始于足下。A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together. Welcome to Tao Talks with Derek Lin, where we take a deep dive into the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. I would like to extend a warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. I would like to invite you to center your thoughts and direct your attention to this moment in time, to the here and now, to be fully present and mindfully aware as we all ready ourselves for this sacred process in the Tao with one another. The seamless actions of the wise ruler. There is a song from antiquity that illustrates the concept Lao Tzu is trying to convey. This song is from the perspective of a farmer. In that perspective, thoughts about the emperor are distant in the mind at best. Practical everyday concerns to the farmer are first and foremost in the mind. I don't have the music for this ancient song, but I do have the lyrics, and I have translated the lyrics as follows. The sun rises and I work. The sun sets and I rest. I dig the wells to have water. I till the fields to have food. What does the emperor have to do with me? So, as you can see, the perspective of the farmer is on the practical everyday realities that he is facing. He doesn't really care so much who is in charge of the entire kingdom or empire. At the same time, from the perspective of the wise ruler, following the Wu Wei principle, the principle of non-attached actions, it would be best to refrain from interfering with the livelihood of the common people. That is, let them do their work without concerns. The responsibility, after all, of the ruler is to provide a setting where they can do that in safety. Provide the means to help them, to build the roads and bridges, to let the people be productive and do what they want to do. Set up a path where the people will naturally follow. And the people follow perhaps without even realizing that someone had to set up the path in the first place. This is Tao leadership, so smooth that it feels completely natural. Now, when we talk about a concept like this, which comes from another time, thousands of years ago, another culture, a different way of thinking, a different mindset, it can be challenging to come to grips with it. Lao Tzu wrote, the highest rulers, people do not know they have them, in the context of people not knowing a lot about the king or the emperor. So then, when we talk about how this ruler, the king or emperor, can cause people to follow naturally, how does that work in real life? In the Tao, basically, Lao Tzu says, when you follow the Tao correctly, people follow on their own. It may seem difficult to understand how the ruler can have people take actions of their own accord without the ruler having to issue some kind of order, some kind of command, telling people what to do. So how can it be that people will follow naturally? What would the wise leader of the Tao do to have people become naturally motivated and fall in line by themselves? To answer that question, I want to share the next slide to suggest several possible ways to do exactly that. So instead of issue commands, there is a lot a wise ruler can do to motivate people. The ruler does not need to tell them what to do every step of the way. This would encourage them to think for themselves, to have people formulate their own approaches to living life, solving problems, and overcoming their own challenges. One of the things that the ruler can provide is incentives to appeal to everyone's self-interest. The idea here is that the people can do what they want to do, but here are some incentives so that even though they don't have to take particular actions because of self-interest, they are more likely to decide to do that. And the key is that the people make the decision themselves. We see examples of this throughout history. In modern times, we have tax breaks as incentives for actions that can contribute to the economy. In charity, there is matching contribution as an incentive to multiply one's donation. So again, the key here is that the people feel they are doing it for themselves and they're making their own decisions. So what would be another way for the wise ruler, another thing that the wise ruler can provide to have people motivate themselves? Inspiration. We see this from the most skillful leaders throughout history. They're able, simply by sharing a compelling vision for a better future, to get everyone motivated. It is even better than incentives. Why? Because incentives can oftentimes be materialistic benefits, like money. We talked about tax breaks and matching contributions. These are materialistic in nature. Inspiration is different because it appeals to one's higher self. It is about dreams of the future, the ideal, the utopian vision. And they can be delivered usually with phrases like, just imagine, or what will happen if, or think about this. When people become invested in this vision that you convey, they take actions on their own. They make plans on their own, all for the purpose of helping to bring the vision into reality. So inspiration, even more powerful than incentives. But there again, when you have people who are inspired, you're not necessarily having to tell them what to do every step of the way. They're going to figure it out. And then the last suggestion that I have here will be insights. A wise ruler who has insights into a particular situation can share those insights. Insights can be extremely powerful. When you are able to look at something from a different perspective, suddenly it can make the impossible possible, or the difficult suddenly becomes easy. This is very exciting. People get excited when they realize that, hey, we can solve the problem that we thought was intractable before. We can solve it in a particular way by looking at the problem, reframing it, restating the problem so that it lends itself to a clever, ingenious solution. That excitement motivates them to take actions on their own, again, without the leader having to tell them what to do. When I was studying and researching this particular point about the Tao, I came across an example that I felt was compelling and amazing because I didn't know. Every time I travel, I go through the airport terminals and I'm dragging around my luggage. That is a common experience, I think, pretty much for everybody. We've all seen it. We've all done it. The surprise for me was that the whole idea of putting wheels on suitcases did not emerge until 1972. So there was a period of time after I was born that the whole world did not know about this obvious solution. After we put men on the moon, people were still lugging around luggages on their own. So this is revolutionary for the time, and now it seems like the most obvious thing in the world. Before the idea occurred to people, the approach was about various ways to make luggage easier to carry, like a better handle, straps, or ways to make them less bulky, lighter, and therefore easier to heft with a hand. People accepted the inconvenience as an unavoidable part of travel because they were trapped in the previous paradigm. Just by reframing the problem, instead of focusing on making them easier to carry, apply the wheel, a technology that existed for thousands of years. So simple, so obvious, and has been the common sight since 1972 until today. I use that as an example to illustrate the power of insights. Difficult problems can sometimes lend themselves to easy solutions with the right insights. The wise ruler can be searching for that and then sharing it with people. Then people take action on it. The ruler doesn't have to do much, and people will get going. So these are all the thoughts and considerations that go into a simple idea that is very profound in the Tao, the highest ruler. Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.